There you go. Good morning, Matt. How are you today?
Good morning, Bob. Good, thanks, mate.
Yeah. Thank you for taking time for this morning's video call. Cold morning today. Early winter probably in Auckland. Yeah, but sunny day today. Matt, thanks again for your time this morning. Basically, we wanted just to get some feedback from you as our customer with regards to our recent project.
Yep.
There are a few questions that I'd like to just ask very quickly. It will not take too long a time. Hopefully within 3 to 5 minutes, we will be finished. So without further ado, question number 1. How did you hear about us, Blackstone Project Management, and how did you choose us to work with you in the very beginning?
Yeah, it was really a pretty easy decision because I went and spoke to the one person who I know and trust in the building space, a guy who runs a big building and project management company, and he said, we're super busy, we don't have any capacity. I said, who do you know that is good? And he recommended you guys, and I'm like, well, he's someone who I trust, and I know he does really good quality work, and if he says you guys are good, I'm going to take his word for it. So that's how I got onto Blackstone, and I didn't even consider anyone else because I was happy with that recommendation.
Awesome. And before you started working with us, was there any preconceived notions that you had in mind about doing renovation works, working with builders in general? Will it be a nightmarish kind of things to work with, blue collar kind of builders, anything?
So I think as a general rule, from my experiences in life, there's good tradespeople and bad tradespeople, and when you find good tradespeople, you need to kind of hold on to them because they're kind of the minority, and having someone who you can trust is just invaluable. So I guess my fear going into it is just when you kind of when you're going to be working with someone for the first time, is are they one of the good guys or one of the bad guys? And I think everyone probably tries their best, but I've still had experiences with certain service providers or tradespeople where just the quality hasn't been there. So there was that apprehension that always exists, but then also because of COVID and everything that we've been through in the last couple of years, and the supply chain challenges and the cost of inflation impacts, all that kind of stuff, I also was probably slightly concerned about just how difficult, time consuming and expensive it would all be, which I think just makes the need to be working with someone trustworthy even more important and more amplified,
Right. And during the project, anything that we did well to squash those preconceptions that you might have?
Yeah, I think it started with our very first site visit where, it was only a small job, but right from the start, I could tell that you and Rio, the lead builder, were listening, and that's a great start. You were really listening to what I was saying.
Right.
And even on the spot that day, you guys were trying to solve problems and think about solutions. So I could kind of tell that you were good problem solvers, and that you wanted. I got the sense already at that point that you'd be wanting to do a good job and wanting to do it in a way that worked for me. And also I could tell by the nature of some of the ideas or solutions that you came up with that day that you guys were smart as well. That that definitely that was a definite impression that I got. I was like, oh, okay, that's a smart idea, and okay, he's obviously been listening. So I think from that moment on, I was like pretty relaxed about the fact that you guys were trustworthy and you good to communicate with, and that's a big part of the solution right there.
Yeah.
And then we still had the kind of question of, I guess, the supply chain and access to building materials and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yes.
But I mean, I think the big thing, as I just touched on, I think communication's a big part of it. Even though there are frustrations in terms of how long you've got to wait sometimes to get the right suppliers and everything. I think when there's communication around where it's at, and you're not kind of just left wondering, that makes a big difference. And then you kind of just can feel a bit more relaxed about where things are at, knowing that at least and you're not in the dark. So that gave me, I suppose, in these uncertain times, you guys still gave me enough certainty to feel okay about the time frame and how it was all going and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think just on the communication, like one thing that I specifically thought was great was that you didn't seem to mind any time of the day or the week or the night. Any day of the week, any time of the day that I'd message you'd respond pretty, very promptly, and seemed happy to have a conversation. So that was really good for my peace of mind, because whenever I had a question or a concern or anything like that, you responded, which meant that I could kind of forget about it and relax, because I knew that you had that. I knew that you had it. So that was great.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, I think at the very basic level, we want to treat each other as, first of all, human being. So then we understand your probably your concern. If, like, for example, you try to talk to us and we don't respond, then basically that's not good, and we don't want that to happen. We respect you as individual. You communicate with us, we communicate back, and if there's any issues, then basically we want to try to solve it together as a team, because we are a team, basically. Yeah. And looking back, any other things that we could have done better to work together more, cohesively? No,
not really. I mean, I think overall I was really satisfied. Nothing ever goes perfectly, because these are quite I guess all building jobs are kind of complicated, and there are many different factors to juggle. So I suppose it never goes perfectly, but at the same time, because it wasn't a huge job, it's not like we had the benefit of having architects with perfectly drawn up plans and all that kind of stuff. You guys were kind of weaving in design and design solutions as you were going, and having to be adaptive, and having to kind of evolve the plan as you went. So I think, considering that, it was really good, because all of the different little decisions that needed to be made along the way were openly discussed, and you checked in with me on all of those things. And I've definitely had experiences in the past where that's not the case. The service provider or the tradesperson just goes ahead with what they think's a good idea, and then you find out afterwards, and you're like, oh no, I did not want that. We didn't have any of those moments. So I mean, I could probably, if I thought about it, find a few things that maybe could have been done differently, perhaps at a very small scale, but no, not really. I'm really satisfied. I think early on in the job, there were a few things that I didn't like about some of the way that some of the early work had been put together. And when I shared that with you, I kind of went away for a couple of days, and then I came back, and then it was all fixed, and all, you know, like that was pretty amazing actually, because you obviously listened to my concerns, and even though it probably impacted the builders and impacted you because of the extra time to kind of undo a little bit of the work and then redo it, you know, you did that without complaining, and then from that point on, it was like perfect, you know, and yeah, I mean, from that point on, I had heaps of confidence because I could tell that you were prioritizing my satisfaction as opposed
Absolutely.
to prioritizing your kind of profit margin or anything like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really appreciated that.
Excellent. And last question. I don't want to take too much of your time this morning. I know you're busy. So probably our last question. Any other message you want to share with other people who want to start their renovation projects during this time? COVID, credit issues, supplies issues, etc.
I think, you know, good to not be yeah, I think to go into it with a bit of flexibility around the time frame, obviously, because getting all the right building materials and everything like that can be difficult at the moment. So luckily for us, you know, we obviously wanted the work done as quickly as possible, but there wasn't like a deadline looming, so that was kind of great, like less stressful for us. I think, you know, these, like I said at the start, I think, you know, in these times where there's quite a lot of uncertainty and different variables that you have to kind of manage, it makes it even more important to be working with people who you can communicate well with and that you trust, and that are looking out for your best interests. So that's probably the biggest piece of advice is like, you know, work with, make sure you find people who are trustworthy and who can kind of work with you through all the different uncertainties and decisions that need to be made along the way. That's the main thing. And yeah, I think, you know, you guys are a great example of that, I think. And I definitely, the next opportunity that we have to get it to for more building work, or the next time we have a need, you know, we wouldn't go anywhere else, basically, because, you know, now that we've got this relationship and it's proven and it's worked well, you know, I want to hold on to that and continue to get the benefit of having good, like you say, good humans to deal with is always nice. Yep. But at the end of the day, like, really good results, and I think good value for money too. Like considering all of the horror stories you hear at the moment, you know, of course nothing is cheap because of the building materials, but all in all, I feel like for the quality of work that we've had done and the impact it has made to our house, like how much better that space is now than it was. Like, it was definitely well worth the money. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is just work with good people.
Right. Excellent. So Matt, thank you again for your time this morning. Really appreciate your input, and also appreciate, of course, the trust and the relationship that we have already built in this past project, even though it's just a short while. But I think we have established a very good foundation right now. And yeah, so enjoy your space, your new deck and everything. And we'll see you again sometime soon.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks, Bobby. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.